He was the world-renowned cyclist with an incredible career spanning almost 20 years. But Lance Armstrong's reputation is now in ruins after being stripped of 7 Tour de France titles and an Olympic medal for cheating.
Well, last night he broke his silence for the first time in an interview with Oprah Winfrey that was broadcast around the world.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
Yes or no? In all 7 of your Tour de France victories, did you ever take banned substances or blood dope?
Yes. I see the anger in people. I see people...
Anger and disappointment.
And betrayal, and it's all there. And these are people that supported me, believed in me, believed me, not just believed in me, but believed what I was saying. And they have every right to feel betrayed, and it's my fault. And you know, I will spend the rest of my life. You know, some people are gone forever, but I'll spend the rest of my life trying to earn back trust and apologize to people for the rest of my life.
Well, we're joined now for a world-exclusive interview by Emma O'Reilly, Lance Armstrong's former assistant, who claimed to use performance-enhancing drugs while she was working with him. Emma, lovely to see you. Thanks for talking to us today.
Thanks for having me.
You've said for a long time that he took the drugs. How did you feel when you saw that interview and you saw him admit it all?
Yeah, in a sense, it's old news to me, do you know what I mean? But it was just really surprising. What was new that he actually admitted it. That was what was like, wow, he's actually straight answers. So it was I thought it was a great introduction from Oprah to kind of just yes or no, and he gave yes or no answers. That was surprising.
After all these years of lying about it and what he put you through, did you feel vindicated hearing him say that?
No, all of it, I've never ever felt vindicated, and I can never think of another word to use, but I hate that word because it suggests almost that there was some vindictiveness pre it, but it was never, I only had ever spoken about it because I hated seeing what some of the riders were going through, because not all the riders were as comfortable with cheating as Lance was. And you could see when they went over to the dark side and personalities changed. I always felt it was an awful shame. These are young lads in the prime of their health, prime of their life, having to make this awful decision that they've kind of living the dream, but yet the dream's a nightmare. And that was always why I'd spoken out. It wasn't about Lance, it was about drugs and cycling.
When you did speak out, though, he and his team tried to discredit you in an awful way. Tell us about some of the things that they did. Well,
how to say it politely, but basically the polite version is I was an alcoholic prostitute. And Oprah, in all fairness, brought up that he called me a whore, do you know what I mean? And one of the things that really, really annoyed me about that is like the conversations Lance and I would have would be almost about, because when I was in cycling, there weren't many women. So supply and demand meant I could have had a good time if, you know, and I didn't, I behaved. And Lance and I would have conversations about that. And so he knew that that wasn't my style. You know, but then to go out and use that, it's such an age-old argument too. And it's so unsophisticated to use that kind of argument to try discredit someone.
Absolutely. Well, as you say, he spoke about you in the interview. Here's what he said exactly.
She's one of these people that got run over, got bullied.
Yeah. Isn't she one of the, you sued her?
To be honest, Oprah, we sued so many people, I don't even, I'm sure we did. Yeah. But I have reached out to her and tried to make those amends on my own.
He did try and call you, didn't he?
He did,
Just this week?
Just this week on Sunday. He tried to call me on Sunday, but you know, the coverage of my house can be a bit hit and miss, and obviously it was a miss. And so I didn't pick up the missed call until late Sunday night when I was going to bed. And then he sent me a text, and he might have sent it to me on Sunday as well, but then I didn't get that until Monday when I was in work.
What do you think to him? What did he say on that text? I mean, was he trying to apologise, or? Actually,
it was one of those I was about to send back kind of a funny reply, because it was something like, Emma, this is Lance, call me please, thanks. I'm like, this can't be Lance, please and thanks in the one text, you know? Or else I was going to say, can't be Lance, Lance only gets in touch with me through his lawyers.
Do you regret not speaking to him now, though?
No, the thing is, if he's genuine, either he'll make another attempt, or if I make an attempt to him, he'll reciprocate.
It sounds like he does want to apologise to you. I mean, is sorry enough?
Not at all. And like, what was interesting, after I got the text, I was kind of dealing with one of the staff members, we were talking about holidays and stuff like that, her holiday time. And so I kind of read the text and then just and put it down and had to continue, because my priority was actually sorting out this staff member's holidays. And then I kind of went into my room and then I thought, you know what? One part of me, oh, this is great, this is... And the other part of me was, you know what, the little runt, you know, and I kind of want to clip across the back of the head, drag him up to Manchester to apologise to people who are close to me and eyeball them and apologise to them.
It's interesting, you know, I saw that. He did show a little bit of remorse, but I thought he would show more, in a way. What do you think of him now when you've seen him on opera?
You know, this part of me, and it was part of my survival mechanism. I tried to remember some of the good times and tried to remember him as a human being, and we did have a good relationship. So part of my whole survival mechanism was not to just remember that he's suing me through the Sunday Times for £1 million, that I'm getting sued for $750,000 in France, and that he's calling me an alcoholic prostitute. I tried to kind of, because I thought if I get too deeply involved with that, I'll really grow to hate him, and then he takes over my life and ultimately he wins.
So what now? I mean, would you consider suing him for what he's done, or now do you put it on a back burner and move on with your life?
More move on with my life, which is my way of always dealing with, keep going with my life. And suing him, why would I employ his tactics? You know, I don't...
He said in that interview he says he's deeply flawed. He described himself as a bully. How did he rope you in? I know you didn't actually see him taking the drugs, but he roped you in the cover-up, didn't he? How did he do that?
Well, one of the interesting questions that Oprah asked was to try and get him to explain the culture. And when she did that, I thought, you can't. And when you're in it, even though I was known for not, like when I left the team, journalists got in touch with me and said, was I fired because I didn't do the drugs, kind of. I was known within cycling for not being involved in the drugs, but yet you still want to help. And you feel, traditionally soigneurs, which is what I was, they're the ones who, before the doctors, and the doctors only took over the medical programme in the 90s, really. The soigneurs, part of our role was to administer the medical programme. And so I always felt I wasn't a proper soigneur in the traditional sense, because I wouldn't partake in it.
Sure.
So that's why every now and then something would, oh yeah, I'll do it, don't worry, I'll sort it, I'll get rid of that. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think, very, very briefly, do you think he's paid enough for his wrongdoing?
I don't think he's even started paying.
Right. OK. Thank you for joining us.
Grant.
You've been very brave.
Thank you very much.
No,
Very much.
thank you.
The headlines this morning: heavy snow